Hey everyone, it's Pam from Style Crafts by Pam, and welcome to another video tutorial on the Pajama Crafter Stamps YouTube channel. Today I'll be featuring the Hippo Ho Ho stamp set from Pajama Crafter Stamps that features this cute little hippo that is ready for the holidays. Here's a closer look at the card that we'll be making today. It features a ton of techniques including dry embossing, splattering, Copic coloring, stamping, die cutting, and ink blending. Here's a look at the papers that we're going to need for our card. First, we're going to need this side folding card that's cut to 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, scored at the 4.25 inch mark on the 8.5 inch side. This we're going to use as a top folding card, so I just smoothed out that crease with a bone folder. We're going to need 2 sheets of white cardstock, and we'll be using those later. And then we'll need a sheet for Copic coloring. And then lastly, a sheet of pattern paper, and I just chose this holly and berry pattern paper from my stash. Here's a closer look at the Hippo Ho Ho stamp set from Pajama Crafter Stamps. It features 3 little hippos that are ready for the holidays. We're going to be using this upper left hand corner hippo, and it's actually paired with 2 sentiments. All I want for Christmas is a hippopotamus, and I chose to use that as well as the 2 presents, and we're going to use the Have a Very Hippo Holiday sentiment. Now what I actually did, because the sentiment was attached to my hippo, I used some scissors, I know, to cut off the sentiment, but I can always add it back and fit it right where I cut it. But I wanted to use it without the sentiment that was included, so I went ahead and cut it. You could always do some masking to mask off that sentiment if you don't want to cut your stamp, and that is okay. I'm inking up my stamps using some alcohol marker friendly ink. It's a nice black ink. And I ended up stamping this a couple of times. I only showed the one time that I stamped it, but sometimes I find that using it multiple times really helps me get the nice crisp outline that I'm looking for, and that's the benefit to having a MISTI. Now I'm going in with my Copic markers to color in the hippo, the box that he's in, the little present next to him, the mistletoe, and the 2 presents that I'm going to be also using alongside the hippo in my card. So here's a final look at all three of those images colored in with Copics. And now I'm going to go in with my white gel pen just to add some highlights to enhance the texture and the realism of the images. So I'm going in on the boxes, the presents, the bow. That's pretty much it. And here is what we're going to be doing with all of our papers. So I used a rectangle stitch die to cut out the rectangle from the pattern paper. I used a stitched banner to cut out a banner from the white cardstock. And for the other piece of white cardstock, I am using an embossing folder to emboss that paper. And that's going to be giving us some texture for our background. Next, to add even more dimension, I'm taking this candied apple distress oxide and I'm just ink blending it on the bottom center of this embossed panel. This is just going to give us a highlight behind our hippo to kind of help him to stand out a little bit more and keep with the festive theme of this card. Now I'm just using my finished die cuts of the hippo and the flag die to make sure that I am getting the look that I want and that I don't need any more ink blending of the red in the center. Next, I felt like I was going to need something to bring in more detail in that upper right hand corner. I felt like it was missing something. So I decided to go in with some black ink and then I watered it down, used a fan brush to splatter that all over my background. I didn't do a lot, just enough to add a little bit more texture and dimension to the project and to fill in that upper right hand corner, which wasn't going to have anything else. So when I splatter, I like to pick up the ink with the paintbrush and then just tap it against my index finger on my other hand, and I feel like I get a good splatter every time when I do it like that. Next, I cut out that finished background with another stitched rectangle border. That's just going to give that stitching detail all around the edges to match our pattern paper. For our sentiment, I used the banner that I had die cut earlier. So it says, "Have a very Hippo Holidays." And I'm just inking that up with some VersaFine Clair ink, which always seems to get a nice crisp look to sentiments. So I ended up doing that a few times. I just showed it the one time. And now we have all the finished pieces for our card so we can start putting it together. For the banner, I decided to add some foam tape to that. And I actually was a little overzealous in doing this banner first. I should have done this banner after I had mounted everything onto the pattern paper. Um, but for this, I have a different look than, my images. So I went ahead and I adhered the banner, cut off the excess. Then I adhered the hippo in the box with some foam adhesive as well, put him in the bottom center. Then I went ahead for the whole card panel and I adhered it to the pattern paper with some tape runner adhesive just to make it flat since everything else was already popped up. Then I added on those additional gifts with foam tape to complete our hippo scene and just have him surrounded by gifts for the holidays. Next and last, we can go ahead and adhere this to our card base, and you can see on mine I have some smudge of ink. I don't know where it came from, but because we're covering the entire front, I just went ahead and left it and used this card base. So that's pretty much it for our Hippo Holiday card. Remember, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this on the Pajama Crafter Stamps channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!